An AEW name is written off TV. Plus, a WWE star was backstage at a major indie event this weekend, and a new WWE signing has made an in-ring debut, and their future plans have been revealed. It's all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. So it was looking good for Trent, and it was looking good until Orange Cassidy just went at him with a monkey wrench. That's exactly what he did. Yeah, and that has done in Trent. He is taken off TV, written out of TV, but for a very legitimate reason, sadly.
Yes, this comes from Fightful Select, who say Trent hasn't competed in the ring in months since AEW Double or Nothing. In fact, Fightful Select Sean Rossap confirmed that Trent has been sidelined with an injury. Trent was in line for a push before he was put out of action and hasn't been cleared to compete for quite some time. And it has been weird to see this little flirtation with the Don Callis family, which hasn't really gone anywhere, but now we know exactly why it hasn't gone too far.
Really gutted for Trent, because I like the look of him as a heel.
Yeah.
Like proper mid-card heel vibes. You and I watched him and Orange Cassidy on pay-per-view, and I just thought he's got all the trappings of a mid-card heel. Could he become more? Well, that'll be down to gods beyond our comprehension. But in terms of what he could deliver, you need some of those strong guys in the middle of it all, and I think Trent could have been one of them.
Yeah, and the storyline they did with Orange Cassidy losing all of his friends one by one, he was getting good heel reactions, is what you want to see from a mid-card heel as well. The investment was there in him being an arse.
Exactly. Well, full and speedy recovery we send to Trent as he begins a spell off of AEW television. We saw someone return to AEW television over the weekend. Rachael Ellering competing on Rampage this Friday, and Fightful Select offered an update on her status with the company.
Yeah, they say sources have indicated to Fightful that Rachael Ellering has signed to a deal with AEW/Ring of Honor for quite some time. In many circumstances, they are all elite graphics are applied, though this isn't always the case. Whenever we find out situations like that, we'll report accordingly. So, graphic pending potentially.
And maybe she'll get a graphic. They just haven't got her near the brick wall for a while. They've moved the brick wall recently for logistical purposes, and they can't remember where they put it. But Rachael Ellering, I think, is a nice get, again, in the same sort of stance as Trent, a strong mid-card character to have in there that could potentially become more. But I think certainly somebody that sits in the middle of the middle a little in the wrestling sense of the term.
Yeah, happy to be proven wrong about this, but it screams a name who's going to be there in AEW to make more fancy names, we'll say. I think I might be a bit too disrespectful, you know what I mean? Like, sort of like just it makes other people look better because she is that fundamentally sound in the ring. Been around the block, we all know this by now, don't we? She was in NXT years ago, wasn't she?
She has. She's put the graft in, and congratulations to her, I guess, if she's already on the books with AEW making that money. This past weekend, it was Marigold's big summer event. We saw Io Sky competing. First time working for Rossi Ogawa since she joined WWE, and you could tell it was a very emotional experience for her to do that. It's not a Stardom return per se, but because it's Rossi behind it, it's for many it'll be as close to a Stardom return.
And she saw AJ Styles over there as well.
She did indeed. They had a lovely little photo together, those two. I've seen the whole AJ Styles match that he had from Noah, and oh my God, it's him at his best.
Are you telling me AJ Styles had a good wrestling match?
I am as shocked as anyone.
I know, yeah.
But he didn't just have a good wrestling match. He had an America wrestling match. It was excellent. It was excellent. But there was another name who was over in Japan during this past weekend, and that was Kairi Sane. She was backstage at Marigold's event supporting Io Sky for a match against Utami Hayashishita. And it was, I reckon we could see Kairi Sane in a Marigold ring.
Yeah, I think she's got a little injury niggle as we're sitting here right now, but once that's out the way, why the hell not?
Yeah, shake off that injury and let's get into some good things. But in terms of injury-related news, some good news for Julia. Fightful Select reporting today that Julia came out of the Marigold Summer Destiny event uninjured and did not re-aggravate her wrist injury. It's been noted that she has just little time left in Marigold, as previously reported, and is expected to begin in NXT once her Marigold dates are fulfilled.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to seeing Julia in the mix.
Yeah.
And this NXT women's division is getting quite beefy.
It is getting quite beefy. It's weird because on the men's side, the top of the men's ranks, the world title picture is relatively thin. But on the ladies' side, you've got Over 10, I'd say, people who could lay claim to being either one of the two champions in NXT.
Quite easily so, and the hits just keep on coming because it was this weekend that Stephanie Vaquer made her official WWE debut. This time last week, she was CMLL Women's World Champion, CMLL Women's Tag Team Champion, and we thought, oh, there's been some offers floated by AEW and WWE, and that was a week ago, and we are now off the back of the weekend where she stepped into a WWE ring for the very first time.
In bloody Mexico City, of all places, would you Adam and Eve it? Many believe that Vaquer's debut would be an in-ring segment addressing the crowd, but there was much more. She came out with the horns on and all sorts, Tom. She was ready to go. Dury shared footage on the socials of Vaquer arriving at the Arena Mexico ahead of the first bell. When she got there, she had a match with a women's tag team title. Yes, with the title belt.
She fought the title belt.
Can you tell it was the Euros final last night? She had it with one of the women's...
Spoiler, it's not coming home.
One of the women's tag team champions, Isla Dawn, and would you Adam and Eve it, the hometownish hero won. I know she's not from Mexico, but you know what I mean.
But because that's where so much of her greatness has been cultivated and curated, it very much felt like a hometown win. It really did. After the match, she addressed the crowd, describing WWE as her dream come true. A huge ovation from the crowd as well, and she did it in front of friends and family in Mexico. And she also cut a promo for WWE socials, which I think gives away future plans for Stephanie Vaquer, because she thanked the WWE Universe in Mexico and then said, NXT, see you soon.
What could that mean?
What does this mean for WrestleMania? It's without doubt now that there was some conversation about her reporting to Orlando for an extended trip or whatever. We hear sometimes of wrestlers who do pop to the PC for a brief tune-up before going off to other things, but in this case, it looks as if she's going to be fully fledged on the NXT roster. That all but confirms it.
Or she could have a Jade Cargill kind of debut, because Jade Cargill, if you remember all the way back when, she appeared on the NXT with the Throne one week, but then obviously didn't become a fully fledged NXT roster member. She went straight to the main roster, so it could be one of those flybys like, hello, my name is Stephanie, before going away. I'm just saying that because this is literally my only, I've seen 3 Stephanie Vaquer matches now, the biggest one obviously being against Mercedes Moné at the pay-per-view not too long ago, where she looked the absolute dog's bollocks and probably maybe too good to be on NXT, just from an in-ring perspective. So could she do like a Jade Cargill thing? We don't know. I don't know. Do you know?
I'd love to say I know, but I don't. But I think if she's flying through NXT, I think onto the main roster, I think she is an absolute gift to that company, and it's almost like that match with Mercedes Moné completely put her on the map. It's almost as if people do watch AEW after all, because as soon as that match happened, WWE went, get the checkbook out, lads. This one's coming with us.
Yeah, she was very, very good there.
She was so very good. She's been good in many other places. I encourage you to go back and find other Stephanie Vaquer matches. But she got her feet under the table at WWE on Saturday night, and then one night later, they ran it back there in Monterrey, and Stephanie Vaquer comes to the ring once again to address the crowd there, but was interrupted by Isla Dawn, upset that she lost last night. She attacks Stephanie Vaquer, screams, get a ref, get a ref. Ref comes out, they have a match, and would you Adam and Eve it, Vaquer wins again.
I know.
So 2 nights on the bounce with Isla Dawn, and 2 big wins over a champion in WWE, which I think with that, you almost lose sight of that a little bit. That's a real statement made to go, we're going to have Stephanie Vaquer pin a champion in WWE. Make all the jokes you want about how the women's tag team title has been mishandled, manhandled, forgotten, footloose and fancy free for so long. But regardless, it is still a champion in WWE being pinned by a newcomer.
Yeah.
That's still a big thing.
Yeah, even though it's a tag team wrestler in a singles match. My God, like a fish up a tree, Tom.
It's like a fish up a tree, which Jack and Fraser Porter look like during WWE The Game, in which they were sent around Glasgow during Clash at the Castle weekend to complete a series of ludicrous challenges that really tested their mettle, their skill, and their social
their
sex appeal, their social interaction, all those big things. It was a really fun video. If you do love those sort of things that we do, where we go off-piste, then watch it, support it, share it, and we'll do more, basically.
That's how it works, isn't it?
That is how
if
it
they
works.
don't do the hits, we don't see to do them anymore because they lose money.
You give us the hits, and we will make the hits. How's that? Check out WWE The Game as we send Team Scotland and Team England out during Clash at the Castle weekend, Taskmaster style. It's on the YouTube channel right now. And for the very latest wrestling news throughout the day, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.